I stand here near Grenfell Tower, Kensington, where lives have been reduced to ashes. Headlines and news have showed a lot of fatalities day by day. The increase in anger, in grief, turning into anger of who is answerable, who is accountable. Is it the authorities? Is it the local authorities, government, developers, politicians? Who? A lot of questions. I myself am speechless just standing here looking at the tower. We'll move on to see what the community response is. I have Toya here with me. She's just come to visit, just to express her feelings.
I feel like people should come out and support. It's not about money, it's not about clothes, it's not about food. It's about getting down here and volunteering your time. There's a lot of crime in London, the UK, and a lot of people killing each other for their postcode. Do something and come down here. Don't waste your time. Come down here and do something. I'm a mother myself. I live in a tower block myself. And to have your child wake up 3 times in the middle of the night and say, are we going to be okay? Yeah, and trying to give them that reassurance because they've seen what's happened here in West London is very, very sad. I mean, I live in a tower block that has 7 floors, and I went down on every single floor yesterday, and we don't have sprinklers. We're in a one way in, one way out exit. I've called the council on numerous occasions today, still now waiting for a call back.
I'm going to interrupt you. What area are you from?
I'm from Newham, London Borough of Newham, and I'm still waiting for a call back to find out what is going on for my own community, and nothing's being done whatsoever. You've got children out here, you've got families out here. I see kids holding on to their parents, you know, because it's sad. It's a sad vibe out here today, and you know, where is Theresa May speaking to these people? Yeah, everybody was up against Jeremy Corbyn, and he came down here and spoke to the people. Yeah, I give him utmost respect. I was never one that was a voter, but in the future, I would give him my vote. You know, look at the crowd already around here. You know, the building alone lets you know that it's not just 30 people that have died. Not just 30 people. It's got to be more. And I don't care what people want to speculate. People's children are in there, grandparents, family members, aunts, uncles, mothers, fathers. Yeah, let these people put their family to rest. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the condition of they look like. Just get the bodies out. Do something. Give people real hope. Not false hope. I've come down here today, and the community spirit down here is wonderful. It's not like a normal day. It's wonderful. The spirits down here is high. Everybody's, you know, welcoming and being friendly. It's not about, oh, I'm Christian, I'm this and I'm that. It's not about that. It's about just coming down here and getting the work done. You know, we're a community. We live in England. Yeah. Come down if you can. Don't sit in the park tomorrow or today and think, oh yeah, it's not us. It is us. We're suffering together. Yeah, let's come together.
Thank you, Toya. Okay. Thank you. That was a beautiful message as well.
watching those around the table. What I'm saying is, I was there at 1 in the morning. Ask these questions in the right way. In the right way.
I'm right in the middle of a march protest for justice. The emotions are high here. Everyone's shouting, screaming, asking for justice. Who's answerable? I'm going to go among the crowd and see if anyone would like to say anything.
When do we want it?
Your name is?
Victoria.
Victoria, can you tell me why you on this march? What's happening?
This is just the most heartbreaking thing that's happened so far. I mean, there have been some very sad things, but this is one of... It just touched me because it's not fair. Just because people are from a lower class doesn't mean they get to die that way.
Where have you marched from?
We've marched from Kensington Town Hall. It was just a kind of a protest against the council to say it's unacceptable. Some questions need to be answered, things need to be, clarified, especially for the families of those who died.
Did you get a response from anyone from the council building?
No. So far as I know, the council were quiet. No one said anything. I think that's why people are so angry as well. It feels like people's voices aren't being heard or listened to, just saying, but it's, I feel like this will make a change, maybe, but you just got to try, for the people who died.
Thank you.
I'm just absolutely devastated by what's happened and how so many lives have been lost. It's just really broken my heart because they're also my landlords, and to hear of this happening in 2017, to have got up in flames like it did, the whole building, I'm just heartbroken. I just want to do my bit by fighting for the victims to get answers because they deserve that.
Are you a local resident?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Do you live in one of the tower blocks?
I was actually offered a one-bedroom flat there, but I actually received a flat somewhere else in Chelsea. But I hate to think what would have happened had I not, and I would have had received that one-bedroom flat. I'd been, I'm just devastated.
Did you actually see it from day one when that tragic night?
I just wanted to come and do my bit. I'm just so affected. I live in the area. I didn't actually witness it, but when I heard it, I just wanted to be a part of the community to help in any way that I can.
What else can you say about the community spirit? Everybody, regardless of race and religion, coming together.
Very peaceful. What they're angry about is that they did actually tell TMO it wasn't fit. There was a fire hazard. And they kept saying that if a fire would happen, they were scared. And what happened was their worst fears happened and they weren't listened. And the fact when your life is compromised, they have a right because families have lost their lives. And what they're angry about is no one from the council came to see them on the ground to just give some kind of compassion, empathy, just say, look, we're going to make it right. We can't undo what's happened, but let's help the community make it right. And because that didn't happen, they've come together to have their voices heard. And they're really angry that the council has let them down. I know they're housing people, but the thing is, their people are dead and their voices haven't been heard. And the community are coming together to have their voices heard because 600 families were living there and there were people staying over and they were told to stay in the building for 2 or 3 hours. And I think they could have had a chance of escaping, and given that there's stories about there wasn't sufficient smoke alarms, so they weren't woken up either. When you hear all the stories put together and there were loose gas fittings, that's just hearsay, I've heard that. people are so devastated, angry, that this could have been prevented. And I think that's what it is. So many times they've said to the council, do something, we're scared. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It could have been prevented, and their worst nightmares have happened, and none of the council have come to say, look, I'm really sorry, let's work together. They're talking from microphones from a distance. People want that kind of assurance, unity from their governments, from the council, say, look, and that's what they haven't had, and they've come together today. That's what this is about.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. As you can see, people are angry, getting together, really anger. I'm just speechless, you know, just listening and seeing and being amongst this, being amongst the unity. I'm going to go in the crowd more and ask some more, you know, how emotions and feelings are at the moment. So would you like to say a few words of how you're feeling, you know, about this whole tragic incident that maybe could have been avoided?
It could always be avoided, because it's the same thing that happens all over in the world, where the poor people reside, not properly respected because of this, how it's seen socially. So this, what's been explained to me, this area is a very rich area to the south, and to the north is a poor area. Now, the rich buildings is over there, like those houses are like 5 million, 10 million and all that, yeah? But the view that they'll see from their gardens would have been those flats. So it looked dated. So what they done, they spent 10 million just doing up the outside. They didn't spend money putting sprinkler systems inside. Imagine this is ironic. To set up a hotel, there's laws where you have to have sprinkler system, more than one way to come out in case of a fire, okay? And that's like law. But in a block of flats, there's no such legislation. So that in itself, and remember, this is not about black, white, this is not about religion. What this is about, it's not even Black Lives Matter. It's humanity matters most, whoever it may be. Now, an injustice has been served here. However the injustice has been served, do I think the person deliberately said, I'm not going to put up fireproof cladding because people are going to die? No. They try to save money, and this is what rich people do to poor people. They care not about us, and we are the power. The minorities are power, yeah? And that the minority that we are is actually the majority, but we've been tricked psychologically by the way how they program us with TVs and everything that goes around. Imagine you're living in a country that has got NHS, and you've got general public, the general public, who is voting against Labour. I care not about politics.
Hi, Sarah. Why have you come here today? We can see everybody's united. What's your reason for coming here?
My reason is not just because of the whole injustice cause, as you have seen today. It's a much more bigger picture. Housing is a crisis in the UK, and I believe I'm calling for the whole removal of tower blocks. I don't believe in them at all. No safety regulation can kind of contain fire. It's there to kind of set up the most vulnerable people an opportunity for them to kind of, it places them in the most vulnerable place, if you can understand where I'm coming from. So in terms of tower blocks, it only serves one purpose, and that purpose is to kind of confine small communities, black and brown people, poorer people, into a suburb where they're the most vulnerable and exposed to problems like that, as you can see. So I'm here not only to show support in terms of the events that's happened, but I'm also here to kind of exercise my political right and get people get people more aware about this has been a bigger issue. It's not just this, it's much more bigger than people think it is.
Well, keep up the good work, Sarah. Thank you very much. Right, I'm here with another protester, Nigel. Nigel, would you like to say a few words, please?
Yeah, well, basically it's very tragic what happened, you know, and I come from South London up here, and I'm not just come to get footage, I just come to just show my presence, you get what I'm saying? But like really and truly, you know, I don't think what a lot of people do is blaming people. I don't think they should blame anyone yet. I think what they should do is wait and just be there for the community first, because none of us can go in that building and know what happened unless you got the experts. So I think what everyone should do is just be together as a community first, and then after, once the rubble's gone away and all the people have been found, then we can start looking for the answers, you know.
Thank you, Nigel. That was really touching. Thank you. I'm here with another protester. His name's Naz. He'd like to say something.
Yeah, basically the council spent 10 million to make the building look nice for the rich people that live here. The rich people that live here didn't want to look at an ugly block. So what they did was they spent 10 million, most of that on paying themselves, and they could have spent £2.50 more, only £2.50 more on each panel, and it would have been fireproof. £2.50 more, they didn't want to spend that. So what they did was, and they didn't want to spend a lot of money on the central heating, so they put the pipes through the stairs, which is the only fire exit. That's why people couldn't get out. If you look at the early footage on people's phones, on people's Facebooks of the fire, you can see it going straight up one side of the building. That's the fire exit. And at the top, there's a really large fire. If you look at the early footage, the reason why that is that's where the central heating was put, the new central heating. And the people were complaining because the pipes went all the way touching the wall. It just didn't look safe. So that's why the people were complaining. They didn't change it. They spent the 10 million on themselves and shoddy building. They didn't do anything properly. The doors weren't fireproof. And the advice they gave was for a building that was properly built. That building was not properly designed. The doors weren't fireproof and the cladding was very flammable. So the advice should not have been stay in your house. The advice should have been get out. That's what the advice should have been.
Naz, I'm going to interrupt you. Are you a resident here?
I live on Latimer Road. I live down the road on Latimer.
You're close by. Have you seen the survivors and the other, you know?
No. One of my friends, his whole family died. There's no, like, everyone that I ask, did they make it out of this? No. That's why I know for a fact the body count is in the hundreds. The reason why the news doesn't want to say the body count's in the hundreds, because people all over the country, from Scotland to Northern Ireland to south of England, would be marching, would be mad. Everybody would be going crazy if they knew there was hundreds of dead people in a building in London. The whole country would be going mad. That's why the news and the TV, that's why they don't want to say it, because the whole country will rise up. If they find out that hundreds of people died in there, the whole country will be rising up. That's why they're keeping it to, oh, there's only 13 confirmed. That 13 is probably the 13 that jumped out of the window. Those people on fire jumping out of the window. And they want to move these local residents, they're going to move them all out and privatize this area. They wanted to privatize these blocks before they've already privatized the ones in Goulburn at the bottom of Portobello. Those have already been privatized. They wanted to do these first, but they couldn't. So they did those ones first, and then now they're going to do these ones. These are all going to become private. All of this is going to become private. All these people that live around here are traumatized. They don't have money for counsellors and therapists. All they have is their neighbours and their friends to talk to. And you take them out of their community and you send them to Liverpool, Newcastle, places where they don't know anyone. They'll be lucky if they'll get sent to Essex. Essex is close. If they get sent to Essex, they'll be lucky.
That was another thing you just touched on, like therapists or counselling. Do you know, because you're in the area, you're a resident, do you know of any counselling or any therapy or any kind of, intervention by the NHS or something that's been happening for the residents, the survivors?
No, I don't know of anyone telling me. There's people that live there, no one said anything about the council helping them. Most people haven't even been rehomed. The people that have got accommodations is because of neighbours and stuff letting people in. That's how people have roofs over their head and going to Westway Sports Centre and stuff like that. The council hasn't given anyone any homes, and they won't give anyone any homes in this area, even though there's 2,000 empty homes in Kensington and Chelsea. None of that will be taken up by the people that were living here, and they're going to move all these people out. As soon as all these cameras leave, as soon as you guys leave and the BBC leaves, all of this is getting privatised. As soon as everyone leaves, it's all getting privatised. Don't be confused. Don't let Theresa May say, oh, everyone's... That's why they said, the statement said, we will rehome people in Kensington and Chelsea or as close as possible. And if close as possible is Liverpool, they'll move them to Liverpool. That's what they mean by as close as possible. Wherever we find a house for them. That's going to be Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester. It's going to be out of London. It's not going to be within London. Most of these people are not going to get rehomed within London. They're just waiting for all of this to die down so they can start sending people out of the area. They told the people in Warrington Estate that they'll be staying there. They've all been moved out there. The people that have been moved to like Essex and stuff like that are lucky because they're kind of close to central London. But everybody else in Warrington Estate has been moved out, far out of the area, far out of London, and that's what they're going to do here.
Naz, are you going to continue doing protests and making a difference?
This isn't going to stop until people go to jail. Until white men in suits go to jail, this ain't going to stop. And the reason why they don't want to send white men in suits to jail, because that will set a precedent. That will set other people, because everything they do, then they'll have to go to jail for it. That's why they don't want to send these people to jail. That's why no one will go to jail for this, because there'll be a knock-on effect. If they start sending people in high up places to jail for killing, for negligence, by killing people by negligence, they're going to have to do that for other places and when other things happen. That's why they don't want to do it. Everyone wants to look after themselves. All the other MPs know in their constituency something like this can happen one day. So they won't push to get these people in jail. Because if they get pushed to get these people in jail, when something happens in their constituency, they'll have to go to jail. That's why they won't push to get people sent to jail, because they know it's going to come back to them.
Thank you, Naz. Thank you very much. And you're both, I'm here with two students from the Imperial College, is it that you say? They'd like to say a few words, because they've been part of the protest from the council building.
Yeah, I think like enough is enough, and like we've seen in areas like Kensington that people just don't care about the poor people in these areas. There's been, you know, a Tory MP here for God knows how long, and a Tory council is still sitting and doesn't seem to want to resign when, you know, many people died just because they wanted to save a bit of money. Essentially what they're saying is that, you know, money for some cladding or whatever is worth more than people's lives in this area, and that's just not on. And they need to step down, and I think Theresa May needs to step down as well, because she's implicit in all of this through, you know, David Cameron several years ago was talking about cutting down on red tape. There's speculation that health and safety regulations will go in the Brexit negotiations, and, you know, these aren't just like bent bananas or whatever the hell, you know, the Daily Mail complains about. It's not about that. There's people's lives that depend on these regulations, and this is what happens when people don't pay attention to them.
Yeah, so
How do you feel?
I feel angry. I feel like the people of Kensington have really been let down by their council, because I think for a long time there's been a really big divide between, you know, the people who live in the north of the borough, who depend on social housing, who just never really seem to be a priority for the council. They're always, you know, second best. And I think this is just another example. You know, the council has not come out. They've not been meeting people. You know, for Theresa May to come down here and basically, you know, show the disrespect she has shown, you know, it's sickening, quite honestly. And I just feel so
How long have you been studying in the area?
So I've been here for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, but I volunteer with various groups locally, so I sort of, you know, I know a lot of the people who live here, so it feels like a really personal thing for me.
It's not just London. Like, I'm from the Midlands, and if you go, like, you know, Birmingham, Solihull and stuff, there's the exact same situations going on. You know, there's the towers, what was it, in Camberwell and Southampton and things like that. These are repeated things, and the measures have not been taken. Well, there was, like, I mean, I don't know if it's a full inquiry, but 8 years ago, and recommendations were made, and those recommendations haven't been met. And, you know, if you look at big inquiries like Leveson, they weren't enacted. So this can't just be swept under the rug, and it actually needs to be dealt with now. And I think one thing that people can be hopeful about is that people have turned out for this today, and it looks likely there's going to be a general election very soon, and that things are going to change big time.
I would just want to ask you another question. You said you've volunteered for various groups around in the last couple of years, or most recently now. Yeah. Do you know, I have a question in my head saying, has there been any kind of facilities for counselling or therapy or any kind of, you know, access that, you know, the victims have had? Do you know of?
I feel like a lot of the support that the victims have come from, you know, local residents, local volunteers, people coming out on the street to support their neighbours. You know, this has not been something like the council has come out and said, we're going to set up all these resources, we're going to help you. It's been people coming together, and while that is great, it is also, you know, it's quite infuriating to know that is the case.
And the £5 million that's been promised now, the fundraising already has raised, I don't know how much, but it's in the millions already. And also £5 million in this part of London is not a lot of money. Like, it may sound like a lot on paper when you think there's hundreds of, you know, people who are now made homeless. and other people who are living in fear in similar residences all across London and the UK. It's not enough.
You know what? Thank you so much. As I said before, I'm actually speechless. I've come away from the protest and I just had a chance to let it all sink in. Emotions are flaring up and it's all about who's answerable, who's accountable. I'm here now behind the Latimer Church where they've got a condolence walls up. I'm just going to go and look around and see people's prayers and thoughts that they've left on the wall. To Tom here, he's from Walthamstow. We're near the condolence wall behind Latimer Church. Hi Tom.
Hi. No, I was just saying that I feel that this is a crime scene and nothing more and nothing less, and people are avoiding their responsibilities. And one of the sickening things about this is that housing, I think, it really is a visible symbol of our socially and economically divided society. In a poor area, in one of the richest, is this the richest borough in the country? And why aren't people paying more council tax? You've got billionaires living in this borough, but there's something else, isn't there? It's about years of deregulation of housing and privatisation, and there is no clear chain of command, is there, or accountability. When you have private companies who have contracts, I believe, is it Raiden had a contract for Grenfell Tower? They made 8.6 million? And if they spent another £4,500, they could have used safer cladding. And cladding, which I believe in Germany, has been outlawed, hasn't it? This is totally unacceptable. But the thing about deregulation is that there is no control on companies or local authorities and the way that they implement these refurbishments. It strikes me that profit comes before people. And I think Jeremy Corbyn is absolutely right when he talks about the many and not the few. Who benefits from all this? And people in London aren't going to forget this. This is another Hillsborough, isn't it? And I also think I'm very worried about this whole issue surrounding public inquiries. The government can set the terms of reference. They decide which witnesses, who will speak. We need an inquest, because with an inquest, local people can question the witnesses. No, it's a sham, isn't it?
You said you're part of an organisation. You yourself, how would you contribute?
I think, first of all, ask the local people what they want. The people that live here, the people that have been ignored because they don't have the money, there's no access to legal aid anymore. Who speaks for them? I think that they need advocates like their local MP and people like Jeremy Corbyn to speak up for them. Because this is so disgusting, isn't it? It should never happen. I just feel, it's a death tomb over there, isn't it? But it should never have happened. Sorry, I'm probably saying what other people. I'm only articulating the views of other people.
No, it's fine.
Absolutely shocking.
It's everyone has their views, and it's a united view.
Yeah, well, in Unite, my union, we've been fighting against privatisation and subcontracting. These local authorities, some of them, have got they seem to act like a commissioning body, but they don't really take any responsibility, do they, for privatising blocks of flats for these Almos. I think this TMO was basically an Almo, wasn't it? And they weren't respecting the wishes of the people that live locally. And I suppose this is what you get. And it's appalling, isn't it? In fact, how can this happen in Britain? You expect this to happen in a developing country. It shouldn't happen there either. I just feel so sorry.
the